All right, here we go. This is something we kind of touched on a little bit when we were graphing our parabolas, but here's the official lesson on it. So most of this stuff's going to look familiar, but the name of this is the zero product property. All right? So basically what it means is if the product of two real numbers is zero, so product means multiply. If I multiply two things to be zero, then at least one of the numbers has to be zero. All right? So 3 times 0 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. So if I have two mystery numbers and they equal 0, I know one of the two has to be 0. Okay? That's basically what this says.
You're good.
So let's take this and look a little bit further into it. So solve each equation. Well, I know if these two things, and remember this is one term, if these two things multiply to be 0, then one of the two has to be 0. I don't care which one, all right? So I take the first part, the first factor, and set it equal to 0. I take the second factor and set it equal to 0. All right, solve the equation. Well, 2x equals 0, divided by 2, divided by 2. X is 0 divided by 0. Okay, over here. Plus 4, x equals 4. So, that means there are two solutions to this problem. If x is 0, I get 0. If x is 4, I still get 0. So there's two possible solutions. Now, I just want to tie this back in with the thing that we already did. This means this is related to those parabolas. This is, I know it's everything's positive, so I know it's an upward facing parabola. It's going to shape something like that. With a 0, it crosses the x-axis at 0 and positive 4. These things are connected. They're related. Okay? That's why I said we've seen this before. We've talked about it. All right? We are not going to be talking about the graphing aspect of it anymore today. I just wanted to remind you. So here, set it equal to 0. Set the other factor equal to 0. Solve. Add 3 to both sides. Add 9 to both sides. There's my two solutions. Each factor is going to give you a solution to this problem. All right? So if I use 3 or I use 9, it's going to be 0. Questions on any of that? Let's keep practicing. So, again, take them and set them equal to 0. Take your factors. 2x plus 7 is 0. 2x minus 7 is 0. Solve. All right. Now this has got a couple steps to solve. Minus 7. Divided by 2. Now, this answer here, how do I want you to write it? Well, kind of depends on how I'm asking the question, to be honest with you. If it's a word problem and I say, like, how many seconds does something take, you need to give me a decimal answer. Okay, so it would be negative 3.5. If I just want you to give me solutions, I'm perfectly fine if you keep it improper. So now get over here. Again, solve the equation. There you go. All right. Any questions on that? Okay. If you see this, x minus 1 squared, so that's x minus 1, x minus 1. So it's the same answer. It's going to hit the same spot. So I really only need to do one of them. X minus 1 equals 0, x is 1. So if you see something squared, it's the same answer twice. To reference this graphically, what this means instead of crossing the axis in two places, it's going to come down and my vertex is going to be right on that axis. So whenever you see something squared, that's what it means graphically. That means it's only going to hit one place and it's going to be the vertex. Okay, just a quick little graphing refresher. I said we wouldn't do it. I lied. All right. Do C on your own. Okay, so I've got 3 factors. So this one is going to give me -1. This one's going to give me +3. This one's going to give me +2. So there's 3 solutions there. I can have as many solutions as I want. Okay, when we graph, we've only graphed the 2 solution one, but you can have multiple. Questions? Do these 3 on your own. So this one, S is -5/3 and 8/5. Those are your 2 answers. Over here, I get -7. And here I get D equals 2, -6, and -8. Questions on those 3 answers? Okay. A lot of times if there's more than one, sometimes the big ideas will tell you to write them in least to greatest. So then you put -8, -6, 2. So just pay attention to that, see how they ask the question. All right. So that's great. Let me refresh your memory of some stuff. So we have 4x to the 4th plus 24x to the 3rd. It says greatest common monomial factor, GCF. What is the GCF here? Okay, so they have a 4 in common and an x to the 3rd. If I take 4x to the 3rd out here, I have an x left. Take this, I have a 6 left. So a little GCF factoring, throwing that in there to kind of refresh your memory here. All right, questions? See if you can find the GCF for that. So I look here, I know 8 goes into both of those. I see they have one y in common. If I take an 8 and a y out, there's a y left. Take that out, I have a 3. So that would be my GCF factor. Questions? All right. So now we talked about factoring with GCF. We talked about the zero product property. Bring those 2 ideas together. Here. So, factor first. GCF is 2x. Now I apply the zero product property, and I have two solutions. So just to refresh your memory, this means that either one of these will make the original problem 0. Let me show you. 0 is obvious. 0 squared is 0. Everything's going to be 0. But here, watch. -4 squared is 16. So it's 2 times 16 is 32. Multiply those, I get 32. So it works. Remember, what we're trying to find is what numbers will give me 0 in the original problem. And there'll be multiple answers. If I plug in 0 here, that's easy. 0 squared is 0, 0 minus 0, 0. But the -4 or the positive -4 worked also. So that's what we're trying to find. All right. Do next. Notice what's different from this and this. Yeah. Zero product property only works if it's equal to 0. So when I see a problem like this, first thing I have to do is I have to get everything on the same side of the equation. I got to get it equal to 0. All right? I need the n squared positive, so I'm going to go this way. These are not like terms, so I just have that. Now, I finish it like the other problem. GCF factor. What is the GCF here? Zero product property. questions. So to rehash, if it's not equal to zero, it has to be equal to zero to do zero private property. So I gotta get them all on the same side, not like terms, then do GCF and do my zero private property to find my two answers, okay? I will tell you this, the number of answers always matches the biggest exponent in the problem. So if you see it squared, you know you're looking for two answers, okay? Now, sometimes an answer can repeat itself. So this would have two answers, but it's 1 and 1. But other than those special cases, if you see this squared, that tells you you're looking for two answers. All right, do number 10 on your own. Question. Okay. I'm done talking. You're starting working. Ask questions.